This is Hawke's Bay. It's the oldest winemaking region in New Zealand. It's even been likened to Bordeaux, courtesy of its great red blends. But it's not all about the history and tradition here. There's also some great winemakers on the cutting edge of winemaking technology. Hawke's Bay is a large semicircular bay on the east coast of New Zealand's North Island. It extends for 100 kilometres from the Mahia Peninsula in the north to Cape Kidnappers in the south. The coastal town of Napier is the commercial centre of Hawke's Bay. In 1931, it was completely rebuilt after a devastating earthquake and is now considered to have one of the best collections of Art Deco buildings in the world. Long hot summers and cool winters are ideal for growing the renowned Bordeaux varieties, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot and Cabernet Franc. One winery making the most of the Bordeaux varieties is Craggy Range. Head winemaker Steve Smith is the only viticulturist in the world to hold a Master of Wine. He's also a keen advocate of a district in Hawke's Bay called the Gimlet Gravels.
In New Zealand, we've got to find the warmest spots to grow our red varieties, and that's the special thing about the Gimlet Gravels. It's warm, and then you have these stony soils that, of course, the sun warms those soils up and keeps it warm at night.
So the stones are, you know, sort of like little electric blankets for the vines.
That is exactly what they are.
Do you know why making the vines fight, translates into a better wine?
Well, if the vine's purpose is to produce grapes for itself, not for us to make wine.
Yes.
If you can stress it a little bit, it will want to ripen its grapes earlier, so it will attract more birds, so that birds will eat the grapes and spread the seeds around. So it's just put the vine under a little bit of stress and think it's not going to die, but it needs to ripen its grapes quickly.
Okay.
And that's the whole purpose.
So it's the whole procreation thing again, but from a grape's point of view.
Happens everywhere, happens with bottles of wine too.
So what sort of grape varieties do you find work the best on the gravels?
We seem to make the best wines from blended wines with Merlot and Cabernet Franc.
The Craggy Range Te Kahu is a blend of Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec and Cabernet Franc. Te Kahu is the Maori name for the mist that cloaks the hills surrounding the winery. Merlot, is a really texturally appealing wine, isn't it?
Well, Merlot in the New World has sort of been pigeonholed as the soft, easy red wine.
That's right.
And in fact, if you go to the great Merlots of the right bank of Bordeaux, they are not soft, easy wines.
Okay.
They are strongly textured, they're robust and have got some of the longevity of great Cabernets and great Syrahs.
And am I going to find something similar here?
I think you will.
After a lesson from the master, I hooked up with a couple of Craggy's slightly younger winemakers, Matt Stafford and Rod Easthope. They're responsible for one of the winery's most highly acclaimed wines, Le Sol, a Gimlet Gravels Syrah from the very top shelf. Tell me a little bit about Le Sol.
Le Sol's a very, very important wine for us. It's probably the wine that's helped put Craggy Range on the map. The Syrah from Hawke's Bay, not just us, but from many other producers, is really making some noise in the world of wine at the moment.
So Le Sol, the soil?
Le Sol is all about the soil, and really this wine doesn't come about without the Gimlet Gravels site. Le Sol's really pushing the boundaries in terms of ripeness in New Zealand. It really runs the gauntlet of autumn weather.
What do you mean? So you leave it on the vines?
For a very, very long time. And what that means is we retain a lot of aromatic impression in the wine, a lot of perfume, but it still gains the concentration that we desire.
How much a bottle in New Zealand dollars?
I tend to steal it out of the warehouse most of the time, so I don't really know. I think it's retailing for about $90.